Hey everybody, it's Greg from Park Journey again with you. As you may or may not know, we did our Universal Studios Hollywood update earlier today, and I'm just finishing up our Legoland California update. Hadn't really planned on doing a new video today, to be honest with you. Sometimes things just hit you through social media and you feel like you have to expand on your thoughts a little bit, especially when it comes to Twitter and you only get 280 characters or whatever. And you want to kind of expand on your thoughts a little bit for the video audience. And so that's why I'm doing this today. So a couple tweets came up regarding the Wizarding World and Universal getting those rights and how it impacted Disney and things like that. And a couple things that I tweeted out along with some friends of ours on Twitter that kind of gained a little traction. And I wanted to kind of put a little bit more thoughts onto that, or into that, excuse me, before the long holiday weekend, while it's still fresh in my head, and kind of get some thoughts out on video for that. So that's what I'm going to do. Before I get into it, make sure you click below to subscribe to our channel. We greatly appreciate it. So this kind of started with a tweet on the 10th from Disney. Basically, first look at their lightsaber training at Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser at Walt Disney World. Great stuff. All that fun stuff. I think we've all seen the tweet. A lot of stuff was said about it looks like laser tag and things like that, and I don't disagree. I think it does look cool, but it is kind of laser taggy. Not sure if it's worth the price tag for the Galactic Star Cruiser, but I'm sure once we see it in person, or whoever sees it in person, won't be me, we'll enjoy it. And then Chris Wakefield Reporter at Wakefield Report tweeted out, "Thank God Disney didn't get the theme park rights to Potter. They would have made it so bland, boring, corporate, and it would have had zero edge." Now, I don't agree, but I also don't disagree, so I'm kind of in the middle. I kind of see it a little bit differently, as Chris put it, which brings me to the next tweet in this thread from our good friend Orange Grove 55, and he kind of encapsulated my thoughts a little bit. And he said, "I am glad Disney did not get Potter, maybe for a different reason than Chris. Disney owns so many massive IPs. To own Potter would have been too much. Competition is good." And if you haven't subscribed to Orange Grove's channel and seen his videos, make sure you do so. Big fan. We're great Twitter friends, and make sure that you're following Orange Grove 55 for that, which led to my reply, this, all caps. "You really think we would have seen Pandora or Galaxy's Edge, as themed as they are, without a bit of a push from Universal? Universal doesn't get enough credit from Disney fans. Just look at Disney attractions the decade before Wizarding World and the decade after." And that's what I'm going to actually spend this video kind of talking about, is exactly that. So, I had my 280 characters or whatever. People are liking it, retweeting it, commenting on it, have had some good replies. But I kind of wanted to expand on that a little bit to kind of emphasize my point on that, and kind of go through a little bit, the attractions, that Disney was putting out in the 2000s, before Wizarding World hit, and then what they've done since. And you can really kind of see the effect that Wizarding World has had on the Disney brand, that kind of emphasizes that point about Pandora and Galaxy's Edge not being what they are without that little push, because competition, as Orange Grove 55 put it, is a good thing. So a lot of this is actually based off of an article I wrote in April of 2017, and I've actually kind of updated this over the last, 4 years or so, to kind of add more things to it. And the title of the article was, "It's an amazing time to be a theme park fan." And I'll put a link to the article in the description here of this video. Basically the gist was that kind of what Orange Grove 55 had said, that competition is a good thing. And, by Universal adding in, Wizarding World and all these other things that they've done over the past, 10, 12 years, it's actually, also, raised the ships, not just at Disney, but even at other parks that are starting to add really highly themed attractions. So, just a bit of history here. Wizarding World opened in May of 2010, so it's now been just over 11 years, almost 12 years, since Wizarding World opened at Universal Orlando. And so just a look at what Disney has done since Wizarding World opened, right? So May of 2010. 2011, we got The Little Mermaid at California Adventure. We had Toy Story Land at Hong Kong. 2012, we got Toy Story Midway Mania. We also had Disney California Adventure 2.0, which was the Cars Land expansion. Grizzly Gulch at Hong Kong Disneyland. 2013, we got Mystic Point in Hong Kong Disney. 2014, we got the new Fantasyland at Magic Kingdom. 2016, obviously Shanghai Disney. 2017, Avatar: The World of Pandora. 2019, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. Also 2019, late 2019, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios. So in 2020, we got Rise of the Resistance at Disneyland and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Hollywood Studios. And then in 2021, we also got Avengers Campus, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot, and World of Frozen at Hong Kong Disneyland. And then in addition to that, we've got the Tron coaster eventually opening at Magic Kingdom. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy opening at Epcot next year. We've got Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway coming to Disneyland. And then obviously lots of other things. Those are just some highlights. Obviously it doesn't account for all of the other enhancements they've made around the parks and things like that. Now, while these might not be a direct result of Wizarding World, Disney definitely felt the competition from Universal kind of siphoning off their themed. Disney was always the cream of the crop when it came to themed environments. And it wasn't until Wizarding World that something really kind of met that, that level. You had things like, Seuss Landing, and you had, Jurassic Park, and you had all of the, Superhero Island, things like that, which were great. But until, Wizarding World, you didn't really have that highly themed, interactive experience throughout an entire land. And then, of course, you had, the Dark Ride, Forbidden Journey, which was just amazing. It still is. You had, Gringotts and Hagrid's and all the other things that came along with it, that have definitely kind of pushed Disney, over the past few years. So talking about the decade since Wizarding World wouldn't really mean a whole lot if you didn't really talk about the decade that preceded Wizarding World. The additions the last 10 years have been great as a result of Wizarding World, as far as I'm concerned. So let's go ahead and take a look at the decade prior and see what was added. And you can just let me know in the comments if you think the decade prior to Wizarding World was better or the decade after. I'm going to kind of pull up a Wikipedia page of Disney attractions, and I'm going to kind of look at them and then kind of go from there. All right, so we're going to take a look at attractions that opened the decade preceding Wizarding World. Obviously, in 2001 and 2002, we had 3 parks open: Disneysea in California, we had Disneysea, and the Studios Park in Paris. Obviously 3 very different parks, so I'm not going to kind of go through all of the attractions for those parks, but kind of go from after 2002. But those 3 parks, there's 2 that definitely needed a lot of help. One that has gotten a lot of help, one that is in the process of getting a lot of help, and then you have Disneysea, which is widely considered to probably be the best theme park in the world. So obviously we'll factor that in at some point in this video as well. So unfortunately, the way that Wikipedia ranks or lists these attractions, they're not really by date. They're kind of alphabetical and then by date. So I'm kind of jump around a little bit as I'm going through these attractions, to talk about a little bit of them in the decade preceding Wizarding World. So starting with the A through C attractions that opened in the 2000s, we have, again, as I mentioned, all of the DCA, Disney Studios, and Tokyo Disneysea attractions. 2002, we had Animation Academy. We had the Armageddon show at the Backlot in Paris. Art of Disney Animation. Cinemagique. Bravissimo in 2004. Block Party Bash Parade in 2005. The Cars Rally at Toon Studio. Crush's Coaster. Give it that. We'll give them that. Art of Animation. American Idol experience in 2009. Moving down to the D through F category, we've got, starting in 2002, Disney Studio 1 in the front lot. I imagine that's in Paris. Flix Flyers, Francis Ladybug Boogie, obviously Bugs Land at DCA, which was a correction for not having anything for small children. We had Disney's Aladdin, a musical spectacular. Disney and the Stars, Disney on Parade. Disneyland, The First Magical 50 Years, which was a great show. Expedition Everest, all right, we'll give them that. Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage in 2007. Finding Nemo the Musical also in 2007. And I will say the one disappointment on the submarines is they don't have Big Blue World playing, because that song is awesome. We had Enchanted Tiki Room Stitch Presents. We'll just leave that alone there. Electronica, which again, overcorrection for Nothing to Do at Night at DCA. That was in 2010. So the same year that Wizarding World opened, the big addition at DCA was Electronica. Moving down through the G through I, we've got in 2002, again, the rest of Bugs Land, Heimlich's Choo Choo Train. They did do Haunted Mansion Holiday. Give them that. Golden Mickey's is listed as an attraction in 2005. Grand Fiesta Tour with the Three Caballeros. Goofy's Sky School, which was Mulholland Madness, just rethemed in 2011. So again, the year after Wizarding World opened, we got Goofy's Sky School at DCA. J through L. Let's see, 2002 we got Lights, Motors, Action, which was a super fun show. We enjoyed it every time we saw it. Journey into Narnia in 2005. Jedi Training Trials of the Temple. Journey into Narnia, Prince Caspian. And then in 2011 we got Little Mermaid, as I mentioned, at both DCA and at New Fantasyland. M through O, we got in 2001, Magic Carpets of Aladdin. We got Mickey's PhilharMagic in 2003. Amazing addition. I will give them that 100%. Mission Space. Really good. Magic of Disney Animation. One Man's Dream. Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue at DCA, which was a replacement for Superstar Limo. Monsters Incorporated Laugh Floor. A retheme of the Ferris wheel at Paradise Pier. Monsters Inc. Ride and Go Seek in Tokyo, which from all accounts is a great attraction. Moving through the P through S category, we've got in 2002 Primeval Whirl. Studio Tour Behind the Magic, Reflections of China, Stitch's Great Escape, Pooh's Playful Spot, Raging Spirits in Tokyo, Rivers of Adventure, Hong Kong Disney, Pirate's Lair on Tom Sawyer Island, Seas with Nemo and Friends. So Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy, I guess we can go ahead and count that. We've got Pixie Hollow, which didn't last very long, I don't think. Stitch Encounter, RC Racer in 2010, and Slinky Dog Zigzag Spin. So the same year that Wizarding World opened at Universal Orlando, at Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris, their big attraction was Slinky Dog Zigzag Spin, or the Toy Story Playland. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we go through the rest of this video. And then finally, in the T through Z category, we've got in 2002, again, more Bugs Land. 2001, we had Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Turtle Talk with Crush, Woody's Roundup Village, Toy Story Midway Mania in 2008, Blue Sky Skeller in 2008. So we got Toy Story Playland again in 2010 at Walt Disney Studios Park and Hong Kong Disney, that opened the same year as Wizarding World in Orlando. So again, taking a look at those attractions that opened in the 2000s and looking at the attractions that have opened since, the type of immersion, the money spent, even if you just looked at, Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge, and Pandora, even if it was just those two things, you could say, yeah, I think Wizarding World had an effect. But it even goes beyond that. You've got, DCA 2.0, Cars Land. You've got the enhancements to existing attractions. You've got the Little Mermaid attraction, New Tomorrowland, Seven Dwarfs. So you've got these attractions that I think, and I think a lot of others, are a direct result of competition. And I think, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I think, as I mentioned in the tweet, that I don't think Universal gets a lot of credit from Disney fans for this past decade of just amazing attractions. And not only, did Universal push Disney, Disney pushed Universal right back. So, if you're like me and you're a fan of all these different parks, and just look at the changes at Universal Studios Hollywood over the past 10 years. That's my local Universal park. And, I don't recognize it from what it was even, maybe 15 years ago, other than a few attractions. And I think that's great. I think that all of the additions they've made have been amazing. And obviously, more to come with Super Nintendo World. We've got Epic Universe coming, so I think that these two companies kind of, I don't want to say fighting with each other, but one-upping each other. For us fans, it's been amazing. And, I really do wish that, Disney fans would kind of give some credit where it's due, because I think that Universal does deserve some credit for giving Disney that push that they may have needed. Yes, parks like Tokyo Disneysea and Tokyo Disneyland, they were getting, amazing attractions, but as we all know, that park is not funded by Disney. So you even have to think of things like Shanghai Disney. It was probably going to be built, but would it be at that level that it was without Wizarding World? I don't know. I mean, let's hope so. Is there a possibility that Disney would have done what they've done the last decade without Wizarding World? Sure. I'll admit that. But I think that, again, the competition is a good thing. And it's funny because it hasn't even stopped at just Universal and Disney. Other parks are doing, themed ride, Justice League at Six Flags, things at Cedar Fair parks that have been highly themed. SeaWorld, doing really, really themed coasters in Busch Gardens and things like that as well. So I think it's not only just benefited us as park fans, but I think it benefited the parks as well. We've seen, huge growth in theme park attendance over the past, decade as well. I watched the Defunct Land Fast Pass video earlier today, and, part of the video was talking about the increase in attendance over the past, decade. And it was, kind of talking about Fast Pass stuff, but, it really probably, you look at the attractions that they built, it's definitely, been a result of, these highly themed, highly immersive attractions, Flight of Passage and, Rise of Resistance and all the other stuff that they've done, over the past decade. I really think that it's really been a direct result of that competition, and I think it's going to continue. I hope it does. Obviously, Epic Universe is going to be a game changer. I do have some thoughts on, the Fantastic Beasts section, which I'll probably put in a different video at some point. I just don't get why they're sticking with it, but that's a whole other video. But anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on that. Let me know if you agree or not in the comments below. I would be interested to hear your thoughts. If you think that I'm giving Universal too much credit and that Disney would have done it on their own, or maybe I'm not giving Universal enough credit. Just let me know whether I'm right or wrong, whether you agree with me or not. That's the fun of this, right? So thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.